You reach into the cupboard, tear the foil, and drop the cube into the pot. The kind of thing you do without thinking. The broth turns golden. You move on. But look at the label. It says beef flavored, not beef flavored. The FDA draws a clear line. A beef bouillon cube must contain real beef extractives. A beef-flavored bouillon cube can use hydrolyzed plant protein with just a hint of beef aroma. No actual beef required. One word on the package, worth reading. Inside that 4-gram block is a story about how someone compressed soup into something smaller than a sugar cube, and how someone made meat flavor from wheat. Portable soup goes back further than you'd expect. In the late 1500s, Sir Hugh Platt published the first recipe. He called it veal glue. Meat boiled for hours until it hardened into a dark, brittle slab. It worked, but nobody liked it. In 1804, Lewis and Clark hauled 193 pounds of portable soup across the American West. Their men ate it only when nothing else was left. It kept people alive. Nobody enjoyed it. In the 1840s, a German chemist named Justus von Liebig tried something different. Industrial meat extract, genuinely flavorful, but 30 kilograms of beef produced just 1 kilogram of extract. In Europe, the economics didn't work. The solution came from Uruguay. In the 1860s, Liebig opened a factory in Fray Bentos. Cattle there were slaughtered for hides alone. The meat was practically thrown away. His factory processed one animal every 5 minutes. Cost dropped to a third of European prices. Today, Fray Bentos is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a meat factory preserved as cultural heritage. But Liebig's real threat wasn't cost. It was a Swiss miller's son named Julius Maggi. Maggi figured out something nobody expected. Soak wheat protein in acid, and it breaks apart into the same compounds that make meat taste like meat. It was hiding in wheat the whole time. Meat flavor from plants. Over 120 years before Beyond Meat, Liebig needed 30 kilograms of beef. Maggi needed a sack of wheat. The old guard didn't stand a chance. The modern cube starts in a mixing room. Everything dry goes into a ribbon blender first. A long steel trough with a corkscrew blade turning through the powder. Salt goes in first, and it goes in heavy. 50 to 72% of a bouillon cube is salt. One 4-gram cube carries 900 to 1100 milligrams of sodium, nearly half the recommended daily limit. Salt is what makes a 4-gram cube taste like a full pot of soup. After salt, the blender takes hydrolyzed vegetable protein, HVP, wheat or soy protein broken down by acid, until it releases the same compounds that make meat taste like meat. This is Maggi's 1880s invention, still the backbone of every cube. It's what creates the beef or chicken flavor on the label, often without any actual meat. MSG goes in next as umami amplifier, then sugar for light caramelization, yeast extract for another layer of savory depth, dried spices, onion, garlic, pepper, turmeric. Some brands add a small amount of real meat extract here. Many don't. The blender runs until the ratios are exact. The powder comes out fine, pale, and sharp-smelling, almost peppery. Wet mixing follows. Melted fat, beef tallow, or palm oil gets folded into the dry blend. Fat binds the powder into a shape. That holds and gives the finished broth body. Without it, you'd have flavored salt water. The mixture turns into a moist, dense paste, slightly sticky to the touch. The paste moves to compression molding. A high-pressure press forces it into cube-shaped molds, 4 to 10 grams each. The pressure has to hit a narrow window. Too loose, and the cube crumbles in the box. Too tight, and it won't dissolve in hot water. Get it right, and one cube breaks down into a full liter of broth. The press stamps out thousands per minute. Each cube drops onto a wrapping line. Foil gets folded around it, sealed tight. The foil blocks moisture, light, and odor. Then packed into boxes of 6 to 24. Shelf life runs 1 to 2 years. Salt and dryness do the preserving. No canning, no refrigeration needed. 1 cube equals 1 liter because 5 types of concentrated flavor sit compressed into 4 grams. Salt delivers the immediate taste. HVP builds the meat profile, and MSG amplifies everything. Yeast extract adds depth. Fat gives it body. Hot water doesn't create the broth, it just expands what's already packed in there. But acid hydrolysis comes with a trade-off. The same process that creates HVP can also produce trace amounts of a compound called 3-MCPD. Both the EU and FDA set limits on how much can remain in the final product, with the EU's limits significantly stricter. Most major producers now use a combination of acid and enzyme methods to keep levels well below either threshold. In 1908, three things happened in the same year. Maggi launched the Bouillon cube. In Japan, a chemist named Ikeda Kikunai figured out why kombu seaweed tasted so good. He pulled a single compound from it, monosodium glutamate, and named the taste it carried. He called it umami. And in London, OXO sponsored the Olympic Games and supplied marathon runners with flasks of broth during the race. An Italian runner named Dorando Pietri drank from those flasks and collapsed 5 times before the finish line. Officials helped him across. He was disqualified. It became the most legendary marathon in Olympic history. The Bouillon Cube, MSG, and the Olympics, all in 1908. The year flavor went industrial. When World War I broke out, OXO supplied 100 million cubes to the British Army, each one individually hand-wrapped. Soldiers carried those cubes to colonial postings across Africa and Asia, and something nobody planned for happened. In West and Central Africa, Maggi became the generic word for any bouillon cube, regardless of brand. Nigeria alone consumes 80 million cubes per day. Across the 25 countries where Nestlé operates in Central and West Africa, the number tops 120 million daily. Nestlé didn't just export a European product, they absorbed local food culture into the cube itself. The Nigerian Maggi formula contains fermented soybeans, drawn from the Dawa and Ogiri traditions that predate the cube by centuries. The product became local. In Senegal, the phrase is simple: no Maggi, can't cook. Pick up 2 boxes of bouillon cubes at the store. One says beef bouillon. The other says beef-flavored bouillon, just one word apart. Flip them over. Beef bouillon cube requires real beef extractives. Beef-flavored can use hydrolyzed plant protein with just enough beef aroma to qualify. Vegetable protein means no meat at all. One word on the front that tells you what's actually inside. That same cube is carrying something else. Since 2012, Maggi wrappers across Africa have included added iron to fight anemia. The Gates Foundation estimates it could prevent 16.6 million cases of anemia and 11,000 deaths from birth defects. The challenge now is doing both, getting iron in while bringing sodium down. Some product lines already carry 25% less salt than a decade ago. The recipe is still changing. The cube drops into the pot and dissolves the way it always has. Broth turns golden. Now you know what flavored means and what it took to get soup into a 4-gram block. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.